Glad you liked it. Do you want any refinements or additions? Maybe a personal touch, a specific audience in mind, or even a killer closing line? Let's make it perfect. Most people wake up, go about their day, and accept the world as it is. They follow the patterns set before them, walk the paths already paved, and operate within the boundaries someone else defined. But visionaries? They see beyond the surface. They notice things that others overlook. They recognize possibilities hiding in plain sight. To see what others don't is to train your mind to ask, what if? It means looking at an ordinary object and imagining an extraordinary transformation. It's about recognizing that the way things work today isn't necessarily the way they should work tomorrow. The greatest innovations weren't born out of following the rules. They were born when someone questioned them. Think about the devices we use, the systems that run our world, the conveniences we take for granted. Each one started as a thought in someone's mind. Someone who didn't just see a bulky, immovable computer, but envisioned a sleek, pocket-sized device. Someone who didn't just accept the limitations of travel, but imagined a way to go faster, farther, and safer. Someone who didn't just hear static on a radio, but dreamed of a world where people could communicate instantly across continents. Seeing what others don't is about more than intelligence, it's about perspective. Two people can look at the same thing. One sees a brick wall, the other sees a doorway waiting to be carved out. One sees a dead end, the other sees a challenge to overcome. Visionaries have the ability to shift their perspective, to approach problems from angles no one else considered. But here's the catch: the world won't always understand you. When you see what others don't, you will be doubted. People will question your ideas because they can't yet see what you see. They will tell you it's impossible, impractical, unrealistic. Not because it is, but because they haven't caught up to your vision yet. That's why seeing differently requires courage. It demands conviction. It means believing in something before there is proof, before the world agrees, before anyone else understands. And it's not just about grand, world-changing ideas. It's about training yourself to notice the small details, the inefficiencies, the moments of friction in everyday life. It's about wondering why something is done a certain way and challenging whether it can be done better. It's about connecting dots that seem unrelated, pulling inspiration from unexpected places, and blending ideas across different fields. The greatest breakthroughs don't always come from expertise alone. They come from curiosity, from seeing connections where others see separation. A visionary's mind is restless. It never settles, never accepts, never stops questioning. It constantly scans, absorbs, and reimagines. Seeing what others don't is not a gift, it's a skill. And like any skill, it can be developed. It starts with asking better questions. It grows with the willingness to challenge norms. And it flourishes when you refuse to let the world's limitations become your own. Good enough is never enough. The world is full of people who do just enough to get by, who settle for okay, who accept decent, who are satisfied with that'll do. But visionaries? They are obsessed with something greater. They pursue excellence with a fire that never burns out, a hunger that is never fully satisfied. They wake up every day not asking, is this good, but how can this be better? Excellence is not a destination, it is a mindset. It is a refusal to accept mediocrity, an unwillingness to compromise, and an obsession with details that others ignore. It is not about perfection, because perfection is an illusion. Instead, it is about pushing boundaries, refining, improving, and evolving. It is about chasing the highest possible standard, and then, the moment you reach it, setting an even higher one. Look at the products, ideas, and innovations that have reshaped industries. They weren't just made to function, they were crafted to inspire. The difference between something average and something revolutionary is the invisible effort. The extra hours spent fine-tuning a detail most people wouldn't notice. The extra layer of thought put into making something not just work but feel effortless. The decision to redo, refine, and rethink until it is undeniably great. Excellence is in the moments when no one is watching, when it would be easier to say, this is fine, but instead you push forward. And this pursuit comes at a cost. It is exhausting, it is frustrating, it demands long nights, relentless discipline, and an unshakable belief that the work is never truly done. It means holding yourself to a standard that others don't understand. It means rejecting shortcuts, ignoring the voice that tells you to settle, and embracing the discomfort of constant iteration. It means battling resistance not just from the world but from within yourself. A relentless pursuit of excellence is not just about what you create. create. It is about who you become. It sharpens your instincts, it strengthens your discipline, it forces you to think deeper, to work harder, to refuse anything that feels ordinary. And the people who live by this mindset, they don't just build things, they build legacies. They don't just create products, they shape the future. But here's the secret. Excellence is not a talent, it is a choice. A choice to care when others don't. A choice to put in the effort when it would be easier to stop. A choice to demand the best from yourself every single day, knowing that there is no finish line, only the next challenge, the next improvement, the next level to reach. Because those who pursue excellence relentlessly don't just change their own lives, they change the world. Failure, a word most people fear, a word that carries the weight of disappointment, rejection, and doubt. It's the reason people hesitate, the reason they play it safe, the reason they stop before they even start. But for visionaries, failure is not an obstacle, it is a tool. It is not something to avoid, it is something to use. Because here's the truth, if you are not failing, you are not pushing hard enough. You are not stretching beyond your comfort zone, you are not trying things that truly challenge you, and you are not taking the kinds of risks that lead to real breakthroughs. The people who change the world are the ones who have failed more times than others have even tried. Failure is feedback. Every misstep, every setback, every wrong turn is giving you information. It's showing you what doesn't work so you can get closer to what does. It's refining your thinking, sharpening your instincts, and strengthening your resilience. Every time you fail, you are learning what needs to be adjusted, what needs to be improved, what needs to be approached differently. Failure isn't the end of the road, it's the signal pointing you toward a better path. But most people don't see it this way. Most people fear failure because they think it defines them. They take it personally. They see it as proof that they weren't good enough, that their idea wasn't strong enough, that they should give up. Visionaries? They understand that failure doesn't define them, how they respond to it does. They don't dwell on mistakes. They dissect them, analyze them, and extract every valuable lesson they can. And then they get back to work. This is what separates those who create from those who watch, those who build from those who criticize, those who make history from those who are forgotten. The willingness to fail and keep going, to take the hit, stand back up, and move forward again and again and again. Every great invention, every groundbreaking idea, every world-changing innovation was built on a mountain of failures. Think about the first time you tried something new. The first time you rode a bike, wrote a story, played an instrument, built something with your own hands. Were you good at it immediately? No. You stumbled, you fell, you got frustrated. But if you kept at it, something changed. You learned, you improved, you adapted, and one day it became second nature. This is the process of mastery. This is how greatness is forged, not in moments of easy success, but in the struggle, in the willingness to be wrong, in the ability to say, that didn't work, but now I know something I didn't. Failure is the price of innovation. It is the cost of ambition. It is the proof that you are trying something bold enough, daring enough, meaningful enough. The moment you start seeing failure as a tool, as a necessary part of growth, rather than something to be feared, is the moment you set yourself apart from the rest of the world. Because those who fear failure stay stuck. Those who embrace it, they move forward, and in the end, they are the ones who change everything. The world is built on rules, spoken and unspoken. We are taught from an early age to follow them, to stay in line, to accept things as they are. Society conditions people to believe that this is the way things have always been done, so this is the way they should continue to be done. But visionaries, they don't accept that. They refuse to, because every rule, every system, every tradition that exists today was created by someone no smarter than you. It was designed in a different time, under different circumstances, by people who made the best choices they could with the knowledge they had. But the world evolves, and those who change it aren't the ones who follow blindly. They're the ones who ask, why? Why do we do things this way? Why is this process considered the standard? Why can't it be done differently? Why not faster, simpler, better? Challenging the status quo doesn't mean rejecting everything outright. It means questioning with purpose. It means identifying what works and improving what doesn't. It means seeing inefficiencies, broken systems, outdated methods, and daring to do something about them. But here's the catch. People don't like change. The moment you challenge what's accepted, you will meet resistance. The world is full of people who are comfortable, who fear disruption, who would rather stick with what they know, even if what they know is flawed. When you introduce a new idea, people will tell you that won't work. It's too risky. It's too different. It's never been done before. That's exactly why you should do it. Because everything we take for granted today, the technology we use, the industries we rely on, the way we communicate, travel, and live, exists because someone challenged what was normal. Someone looked at a horse-drawn carriage and thought, what if we could travel without horses? Someone saw the inconvenience of wired phones and imagined a world where people could talk from anywhere. Someone looked at a brick-sized, clunky computer and dreamed of something sleek, intuitive, and powerful enough to fit in the palm of your hand. Progress is never made by those who conform. It is made by those who disrupt. And disruption is uncomfortable. It makes people uneasy. It forces them to think differently. But the greatest ideas, the biggest breakthroughs, the most world-changing innovations have always started as something people doubted. Think about the industries that seemed untouchable, until someone had the audacity to rethink them. Transportation, media, healthcare, education, retail, every one of these industries has been flipped upside down by individuals who refused to accept this is just how it is. They saw a different way, a better way, and they had the courage to build it. But challenging the status quo isn't just about business. It's about how you think. It's about how you approach problems, how you make decisions, how you interact with the world. It's about recognizing that the rules you follow today were created by someone else, and if they no longer serve a purpose, you have the power to change them. Most people wait for permission to innovate. They wait for someone to tell them it's okay to think differently. The truth is, no one is going to give you permission. You have to take it. You have to believe in your vision so strongly that you don't need validation. Because the moment you stop accepting things as they are and start questioning how they could be, that's when you begin to shape the future. Every great breakthrough, every invention that reshaped the world, every idea that seemed too ambitious, too radical, too far-fetched, it all started with one person who believed when no one else did. The difference between those who create history and those who are forgotten by it is simple. The ones who succeed refuse to believe in limits. They refuse to let the world tell them what is or isn't possible. They refuse to accept that just because something has never been done before, it can't be done now. Think about this. Every major advancement, electricity, airplanes, the internet, artificial intelligence, was once considered impossible. People laughed at the idea of flying machines. They scoffed at the thought of talking to someone across the world in real time. They dismissed the notion that information could be accessed instantly from anywhere. And yet here we are, living in a reality shaped by the very ideas that were once ridiculed. Why? Because a handful of people had an unshakable belief in the impossible. This kind of belief isn't about blind optimism. It's not about ignoring obstacles or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about knowing the odds are against you and pushing forward anyway. It's about seeing a wall and refusing to believe it's unbreakable. It's about hearing the word impossible and thinking, that just means no one has figured it out yet. And make no mistake, when you believe in the impossible, you will be doubted. People will try to talk you out of it. They will list every reason why it won't work, why it's too risky, why you should play it safe. And the easy thing to do is listen, to settle, to convince yourself that they're right. But here's what separates visionaries from the rest of the world. They don't need anyone else to believe in their idea before they pursue it. They don't wait for validation. They don't wait for approval. They don't wait for someone else to see the vision before they act on it. Because the truth is, most people don't recognize genius in its early stages. Most people only believe in something once it's already successful. But visionaries? They see it before it happens. They believe when there's no proof. They trust their instincts when logic says to give up. And this belief is not just about creating world-changing ideas. It's about how you approach everything in life. It's about believing in yourself when no one else does. It's about knowing that just because you've never done something before doesn't mean you can't. It's about recognizing that limits are only real if you accept them. Because the moment you start believing in the impossible, that's when you start making it possible. The world is filled with ideas, experiences, technologies, and concepts waiting to be linked together. But most people don't see the connections. They look at knowledge as separate compartments. Business is separate from art. Science is separate from design. Technology is separate from storytelling. They focus so much on specialization that they miss the magic that happens at the intersection of different disciplines. Visionaries don't think this way. They understand that innovation isn't about creating something from nothing. It's about taking what already exists and connecting it in new, unexpected ways. Think about some of the greatest breakthroughs in history. They didn't happen in isolation. They happened when someone took knowledge from one field and applied it to another. When someone saw a pattern that others missed. When someone combined seemingly unrelated ideas and created something revolutionary. Take the smartphone. It wasn't just about making phone calls. It was about combining communication with computing, design with functionality, simplicity with power. It was about connecting the dots between industries that had never been linked before. Or consider the world of music streaming. It wasn't just about distributing songs. It was about understanding consumer behavior, leveraging data, and blending technology with human psychology to predict what people want before they even know it themselves. These kinds of connections don't happen by accident. They happen because certain minds are wired to see beyond categories, beyond labels, beyond boundaries. But here's the key. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. You have to trust that every skill you acquire, every challenge you overcome, every seemingly random experience you go through is adding to a bigger picture. You won't always see the purpose in the moment, but later you'll realize that every piece had a role to play. And that's why curiosity is essential. The more you explore, the more dots you collect. Read books outside your field. Learn from industries you think have nothing to do with yours. Observe the way nature designs solutions. Study history, art, technology, psychology, because the more diverse your knowledge, the more powerful your ability to connect ideas in ways others can't. Most people wait for inspiration to strike. Visionaries go out and find it by exposing themselves to different perspectives, different disciplines, different ways of thinking. They pull ideas from unexpected places, remix them, reshape them, and transform them into something the world has never seen before. Because in the end, the most groundbreaking ideas don't come from a single moment of genius. They come from a lifetime of collecting, observing, questioning, and finally, connecting.